Hello, everybody. It is January the 10th, 2021, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. This is Wrestleview Weekly. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing okay. I'm doing okay. You know, I'm trying as best as I can to provide an escape for you after an attempted coup. But we'll try. We'll try. Yeah, no political talk or anything like that here because we talk wrestling. It's Wrestleview Weekly, and I'm Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and the co-host of Wrestleview Live, which happens here during every major WWE event or NXT event because it's a live watch-along. Watch it along with me as the show happens, and then afterwards the effervescent editor-in-chief Mike Tedesco joins me to provide his thoughts after I provided my running commentary. Whew! All right. And that's going to happen coming up in a few weeks for the Rumbles of Royalty. The Royal Rumble, the best pay-per-view of all of the WWE pay-per-views, bar none, no debate. Yes, I can understand how WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of the WWE pay-per-views. That's the biggin. That's the biggin of the big four. But bar none, everyone loves the Royal Rumble, period. There's not anyone who does not love the Royal Rumble, and no one more than yours truly, because I love the Royal Rumble so much, I made the Fantasy Royal Rumble. The what? Wait a minute. I'm sure. Well, Doug, we do Fantasy Rumbles. We just pick the number, and whoever has the number, that's the winner. No. If you enjoy fantasy sports, like fantasy football or baseball, and you have to draft your team and you root for your individual players to win, that is the same with the Fantasy Royal Rumble, or the Fantasy Rumble, just call it. I've been doing the Fantasy Rumble on Wrestleview now, gosh, what has it been, like 7 or 8 years? Something like that. Well, today we're going to talk about what is the Fantasy Rumble. How do you put it together for your watch-along group, for your party stream, or whatever the hell you're going to be doing because of spiky Nerf ball, the COVID? How are you going to enjoy it with your friends? Well, the Fantasy Rumble is going to help you with that, and I'm going to explain how you do that and everything. Also, all kinds of other stuff. Top 5 things to pay attention to from the week of the wrestling televisions from last week. News coming down the line. Some people are not working for companies. Some people are working for companies. And Matt Hardy just can't stop fucking his wife. So that could be part of the news. The milk carton grows every week. It is growing not exponentially, but at a very impressive rate. Many new people have joined the WWE milk carton, and we are 1 week away from making history and coronating a brand new golden gallon. And then finally, going to talk about the Fantasy Rumble, how you put it together, how it works, and also how we'll be doing that with you, the viewing audience. How you will, viewing and listening audience, live right now or on demand, however the hell you're doing it. Go ahead and let you know how you can join in on the fun. It's good times, believe me. If you've never done it, ask anyone who's been a member here of the Wrestleview Facebook community, who's ever, ask everyone. It's fun. So can't wait to do it. But until then, got to get the pleasantries out of the way first. If you're in the chat room now, you say "wee." If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who is in there? I see Chad. I see Andrew. I see Grash. Who else is there? I saw Kobe. Kobe's in the chat room. Wee. Daniel with way too many E's. I can't go long like that, so I'll just go, wee! There's Mediocre Lewis. Yes, everyone's coming in there. There's Mashoon. Also, Wwe Wyatt's 30. That's right, Wwe Wyatt turned 30 today. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Mashoon. Yes, Wwe Wyatt turned the big 30. Is it 30 or is it 30? Yeah, it's 30. Is it 30 or 30? I don't know. I don't know. I try. Yes, everyone's filing in for the Fantasy Rumble and learning about the thing. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and dip into our sources. Professional wrestling podcasts and news websites all say that they've got the sources to let you know what's happening to the boys in the back and all the thing. Though Andrew telling me, oh yeah, Tamina had a birthday too. Tamina, God, she's got to be what? Bring up the database. How old is Tamina now, Doug? Let's look that up. How old is Tamina? She's in her 40s as well, isn't she? She's in her 40s, I think. Let me see. I think she's like 42, I believe. There she is. No, 43. She turned 43. Sources. Professional news websites. Sources. Boys in the back, the drama, to give you more drama instead of the drama that you're watching on TV. Well, on Wrestleview, our sources are double and triple checked to make sure they are fresh at our disposal. And here on Wrestleview Weekly, our sources, and the news that comes out of my mouth, my pie hole, the sources are fabulous. And the sources today, we dipped into this one a while back. We're going to finish it all off now because it's mighty cold outside. Dipping into, what's a brewery here again? What's a brewery? Where are you from again? From New Holland Brewery is where we're dipping into. Dragon's Milk Solera. Oh, we dipped into this, and this was a fine one last year, but we'll go ahead and read the descriptor for you here. Aged in a series of American oak foeders, using a blending technique known as Solera, nuanced flavors of caramel, toffee, and fig create an experience made to be savored. This legendary ale will continue to evolve with each pull from the foeders, becoming more complex over time. This is the ABV on this bad boy is a 10. Oh yeah, we're going good here. Pop that, grab your church key, get it open. Church key, open it. There we go. Got it. There we go. You do that. And we are drinking from, I have now deemed this glass. This is the Sifter of Arrogance. I think that's apropos. The Sifter of Arrogance, because, man, does this make me look like a hoity-toity son of a bitch. So we go ahead and pour the Dragon's Milk in there. Dragon's Milk is fantastic. Whatever form it is. I've had Dragon's Milk White, the regular, and this here, the Solera, is fantastic. Here we go. Dragon's Milk Solera, toffee, fig, and caramel. Dangerous stuff. Dangerously smooth. And now, before we get into the show, we got to get rid of the IOUs. Get rid of the IOUs. Tender Loving Care, TLC pay-per-view from last year. Made some predictions, and some of those predictions were wrong. All of the predictions that were wrong were locked picks, which means that I need to assume the position and take my punishment. Doug, what do you mean by locked predictions and punishment, and you're gonna what now? No. Whenever I make predictions on this show, I will feel confident in those predictions, and sometimes I will lock them. If a locked prediction has failed to come to fruition, we do a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. We have only one to take right now, because one is what I owe. And then after that, we are clean. No more tequila until we predict the Royal Rumble. So, Mediocre Lewis, where the hell is Orange Cassidy? I know. Yeah, where is Orange Cassidy? That is a very good question. Grash, when did Doug just start locking everything on a card? I started locking everything on a card it was the end of the year. And so to build suspense, to put more oomph behind the pay-per-views. We start fresh, start easy going into the year. And also, I wanted to hit 100 wins. I couldn't hit 100 wins on my record, so, oh well. All right, so we got the shot glass. This is a double shot glass. So we're only going to fill this guy about halfway. Is what we're going to try to do. Oh, gosh. I think that needs a little bit more. No, I don't think that needs a little bit more. I think that's, no, all right, a little bit more. A little bit. There we go. Okay, now I'm satisfied. There we go. Okay. All right. Put that in. No more tequila for the foreseeable future. Not until next month, probably. No tequila until next month. Well, it's not going to be as bad. I mean, it's not going to be like, God, the dude doing the 2 shots a show? Oh, God, that was bad. That was really, really bad. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's do it. Jamel's shouting it from the rooftops. Andrew's shouting it slightly. Here we go. Put that shot glass right up there for everyone to see, full of integrity. That is not water. You saw it come out of that big old thing. Here we go. Raise it up. Everyone said it, so I'm going to say it as well. Here's to me not knowing shit about professional wrestling. Ugh. Mm. Oh, God, that's bad. That's horrible. Jamel, one day we'll find out Doug has been working us. He's been using gimmick tequila filled with water. No, that is not gimmicked, okay? I'm serious. I would not gimmick or work you guys like that, okay? I am not. No. Workers always working, but I have no reason to work. I'm not making anything to need to work. So there you go. All right, let's get on with the show. Top 5 things to pay attention to from the pro wrestling of the WWE variety from last week. And the first one made a lot of people go, oh, not this shit again. Yep, here we go. Last Monday was the Raw Legends show. As we all know, it's that time of the year, you know, the first episode practically, or second episode of the year, where the WWE trots out all the old farts so that old farts like me will tune into their show and give their ratings a big pop, you know, and that episode was no exception. They did receive a pop. I believe the Raw show from last week hit the 2.25 million mark for the first time in a very long time. And and so we were left with this from last Monday, where Goldberg shoving down Drew McIntyre because he's not giving them the respects and the honors that they deserve. And so it looks like we're going to be getting Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre at Royal Rumble for the WWE title. Okay, gonna have to break it with you here, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me on this. I hate Legends shows. I hate it when they bring out the old farts that, you know, that I'm gonna remember from my times as a WWE or WWF fan. I hate it when they do that, okay? And I totally understand why they do it. They get it to get the ratings pop. We know why they do it. We don't need to be cynical enough to know that, okay? The problem is, there are some old farts like me that don't care about the old farts. I really don't, okay? But at the same time, I wonder how, when you get that ratings pop, how do the old farts know that that show is about to happen? Sexy hunk of man meat Lewis in the chat room going, wee! How do they get this ratings pop if everyone else is not watching wrestling? How does that happen? Like, how they advertise it out and everyone find it out over the interwebs to tune into it? I don't get it, you know? And I understand why they do the show. I just don't like it. I've never liked old fart shows. I hate it when they trot out the old DX and they trot out Brother Love, even though he's there working as their head of creative writing and everything. I've never been a fan. You know, they bring out Hulk Hogan and Joe, and I don't get a butthurt aplenty when Hulk Hogan shows up, but damn it, I'm sick and tired of it, you know? Old fart like me. I'm tired of seeing the people, how old they are now when I used to watch them when I was young because it makes me feel even older. I don't want to feel even older. I don't. Let me continue harboring my inner child. You know, please. They trotted out Mickie James as part of the Legends Night. Did you know that she is still on the main roster? She was injured with a broken nose before Hell in a Cell last October, and she said that she was going to be coming back. Never did. Tatanka was dropped. Who was calling for Tatanka? Who? Except for everyone who's on Parler. Who was calling for Tatanka? I wasn't. I unfollowed the Joker on Twitter. You know, I hate old fart shows, but I understand why they do old fart shows. Do wrestling fans who are half my age, do they get a kick out of seeing the old farts show up? Alicia Fox, Andrew brought up. Alicia Fox showed up on the Raw Legends Night. Okay. And it was amazing on the Twitter the next day that people were putting together compilation videos of all the moveset that she had. But I don't get it. I really don't. Whatever. It doesn't make me angry, though. It just makes me know that this is an episode of Raw that I can miss. And I know that I won't miss much. Unless an old fart shows up and shoves down the WWE champion. Then it's something I guess I have to pay attention to. Thankfully, that happened in the final minutes of the show. Whatever. Let's get to stuff that's happening currently. Let's talk about people who, are just happening right now and they aren't old farts. I have been talking about this for a month and a half. Okay, what to keep an eye on, all right? And the biggest of them all for the past month and a half has been the repackaging of Xia Li and Boa. And here we go. Xia Li showing off the repackage with a nasty, nasty kick right there to Cortez. Was her last name? I don't know what her first name was, but Xia Li just knocking the mask off of Tina Smith, who kind of just walked right into it. The entrance for Xia Li and Boa is fantastic. The girl from Ringu sitting on the throne at the top of the ramp. The screens, the television screens in not the Thunderdome, but the Spark Center. The Lightning Arena. All of them, instead, they show torches and a brick wall, and it looks like you're in a temple of some kind. The look of the entrance is fantastic. Jamel asking, no, that is not Luchadora. That is not Luchadora. But it damn well could have been. The entrance is fantastic. Boa looks like he's from the Matrix. But Xia Li has got a nice little hat with the draping of the scarf and everything. And again, the girl from Ringu sits on the throne throughout the entire match. Xia Li turning once during this jobberific showcase to bow to said Ringu girl. I'm very curious to see if Boa will make his debut in his repackaging this week. On Wednesday, but we'll see. This, again, pay attention to this because there could be more people involved with this repackaging than you may think. More than just the Ringu person and Xia Li and Boa. There are many other Chinese performers that have been in WWE developmental in China. So don't be surprised if we see more people forming a stable of some kind. But great, just you murdered that girl. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of fascinating, kind of interesting there coming up. Number 3. Apparently, the new number 1 contender for Roman Reigns' Universal title is Adam Pearce after he won a gauntlet match. Why was he in the gauntlet match? Watch SmackDown. I'm not going to explain it. The people who are involved in said gauntlet match, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan. Okay. After Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Daniel Bryan, out came Jey Uso and Roman Reigns to beat the crap out of Shinsuke Nakamura. Then out comes the final participant, Adam Pearce, who they beat up, draped over Nakamura. Ref counts 1, 2, 3, and there you go. Your new #1 contender for the Universal title is Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, who has not wrestled in over 6 years, is doing this. Now, this kind of came as a shock to some people. This happened once before when it comes to leading up to a Royal Rumble event, and we have a championship match where the purpose of the match was to really, bolster the champion and not as much what the challenger was going to be. Great example would be actually from the TLC event, the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs event, I think at WrestleMania 27? It might have been 27, I think it was. Not 28, 27. The Miz versus Jerry Lawler for the WWE title in a Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match. That's what this is reminding me of. Where the match itself is just supposed to be to bolster and augment the champion. And you're supposed to have that babyface Imperial guy who might have a chance, but probably won't. This one, I've never watched an Adam Pearce match in my life. I have no idea. I know he's been in Ring of Honor. I think he was a champ in Ring of Honor. But I've never seen an Adam Pearce perform. Maybe I should look up some matches on Adam Pearce to watch that. But is this interesting enough to make you want to watch Royal Rumble if you're not No. You're going to watch the Royal Rumble for the Royal Rumble matches themselves. You're not going to watch it for this. You're not going to watch it for Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. So, yeah. Yeah, Jamel saying, when Bob Holly got a championship match against Bork Laser back in 2004. Mediocre Lewis, he's a former NWA World Champ. Oh, he is. Okay. I guess I'll have to look up some matches. I'm sure he's got a match against Nick Aldis at one point, maybe? No, Aldis was in TNA probably while he was World Champ. So, I don't know. I mean, I take it that Adam Pearce is a steady hand. I don't expect him. He's not going to be doing flippy-dippy stuff. It's not going to really necessarily be a squash match. I would anticipate they give Adam Pearce some offense. I see Kevin Owens making a run-in during the match to keep Jey Uso at bay. But I also see maybe others running in. Preferably Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. They could run in during this championship match. Or this just changes things up a little bit when it comes to who might win the Royal Rumble. Because remember, I've already predicted that the winner of the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble match, is going to be Daniel Bryan. Period. Daniel Bryan is going to win the men's Royal Rumble match. And we'll have Daniel Bryan burn for the Universal title, is what I'm looking at. So we could have some run-ins of Cesaro and Nakamura, and Jimmy Uso could be back from injury, from his reparative knee surgery, but we'll see. Who knows? Yeah. Other things to talk about. There is already a match of the year candidate. We are only, when this match occurred, or it was only a week into the new year. When you've spent the entire day watching mouth breathers attempt a coup and filming it on their phones, and you're just disgusted with this country, and you're disgusted with life in general. You just need an escape of some kind. This match was your best escape. Wwe Whipley versus Raquel Gonzalez in a last woman standing match. I was super fucking hyped with their vignette that they showed the episode prior. The vignette hyping this match was fan-fucking-tastic. The match itself, not too far-fetched. Plenty of high spots, including this one with Wwe Whipley tumbling down for a senton as Raquel Gonzalez laid on top of a table from catering. Dakota Kai would make a cameo appearance, slugging Wwe Whipley with a kendo stick, but then she would get shoved into a locker, a very small locker. A very, very small locker. And kept inside there. Raquel Gonzalez, one-arm powerbombing Wwe Whipley through the ramp. The stage, not the ramp itself, but the stage that had the ramp there, a la Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz. One-arm powerbombing her. Raquel Gonzalez emerges from the rubble victorious. A lot of people are seeing that this is Wwe Whipley's final match in NXT. Could be seeing her show up in Raw or SmackDown. I put my rubber stamp on that one. Wwe Whipley will be off television until the Royal Rumble, where she makes her appearance at the Royal Rumble, and she could win it. Wwe Whipley could win the Women's Royal Rumble match. Very well could. In fact, she might be my... Yeah. Wwe Whipley, I will immediately put as winning the Women's Royal Rumble match and challenging Sasha Banks on SmackDown. I'm not locking that. I still need to think about that one. Because I know we had a lot of wacky shit going on with our WrestleMania whiteboard. We had Sasha Banks, Karen, and Bianca Belair in a triple threat thingy for the SmackDown Women's title. We had Asuka and Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title. Stuff can change. We will change that after the Royal Rumble is all said and done. But right now, I would put money on Wwe Whipley winning the Women's Royal Rumble match. Jamel bringing up could be Whipley, Belair, or DeVille. You can put some stock in Belair winning it. DeVille, not so much. We got some hints on last Friday's episode of SmackDown that Sonya Deville is going to be taking more of a managerial, authoritative position within the programming. It looks like Sonya Deville might be the new general manager of SmackDown. If we are to believe that Adam Pearce is the one in charge of making matches on Raw and SmackDown, he's going to lose against Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble. So he will fall off the face of the planet for a little bit and reappear on Raw. Sonya Deville, though, not so much. She could take the reins from the Adam Pearce after Reigns took the reins off of Adam Pearce. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Cross Devil in the chat room. Tony, Dakota, or Ember. I don't know how to break this to you, Cross, but Ember Moon is on the milk carton right now. She hasn't been on television for nearly a month. Dakota Kai just got shoved into a locker by Wwe Whipley, and Toni Storm is about to appear on the WWE milk carton. She is 1 week away. She hasn't been on TV in the past 2 weeks. So, though my picks right now, it's a toss-up between Wwe Whipley and Bianca Belair. But this match, if you have not seen this match between Wwe Whipley and Raquel Gonzalez in last woman standing match from last Wednesday's NXT, watch it. It is a fantastic garbage brawl. Already, it's right now my match of the year candidate, and we're only a week and a half in. Finally, Cross saying you just don't want to predict all. I I absolutely agree. We all don't want a predictable outcome. Totally agree with your sentiment there. That is how all professional wrestling fans are. We all want the unpredictable. We want to be shocked. We want the unpredictable. We crave the unpredictable. That's why we watch television. That's why we watch the shows. That's why we watch this stuff. We want the unpredictable. Royal Rumble is the showcase of unpredictability. You never know who's going to show up. So, totally agree with you. I don't want a predictable outcome either, but got to go with what you know. The number one thing you should pay attention to from last week's WWE television is actually something that was not on WWE television. It was not on Raw, NXT, or SmackDown. In fact, instead, it was on one of their post shows. It was on Talking Smack. And I really wish I could play it. But I encourage you to check out the episode of Talking Smack that followed Friday Night SmackDown, where we have a near 4-minute exchange between Paul Heyman and Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews coming on there. He had his Intercontinental title match. No, he had an Intercontinental. I think it was a non-title match. It was Apollo Crews versus Biggie in a match. In the match, Apollo Crews pinned Big E. But I think both men's shoulders were on the mat, or there was a foot on the ropes. I can't remember. The referee at first called for the bell, but then nope, saw it. Apollo said, all right, fine, overturn it. Let's restart the match. And then Big E ends up winning it. And so it was for the Intercontinental title, Jamel. Okay, it was. On Talking Smack, Apollo Crews comes on to air his grievances. He pinned Big E, but they had to restart the match. And he's airing his grievances. Paul Heyman delivers just a magnificent exchange with Apollo. We're basically telling him, you're not in this business to make friends. You're here to make money. Why did you allow for this match to be restarted? It's because you felt too good, because you have too much friendship, because you're too much of a nice guy that you let it happen. You could have been Intercontinental Champion. You pinned the Intercontinental Champion right there, and you could have ended it right there. But no, you had to go off and be a nice guy and have too much integrity, and look what happened. Now you're all the way at the back of the line. Don't look at me. If you want to deck me after what I've said, go right ahead and deck me. Check out this exchange between Paul Heyman and Apollo Crews, because it's not the actual exchange that I'm talking about that is the thing to watch. The big thing to watch is Apollo Crews during Heyman's monologue to him and his lecture to him. Apollo, his jaw starts jetting out. He is grinding his teeth, looking down at the table the entire time. Doesn't even lift his head up. I mean, he looks pissed, okay? Apollo does a fantastic job in this. After this right here, I am finally sold on Apollo Crews. Because yes, Paul Heyman furthered the storyline and further explained what should be happening in Apollo Crews' mind in that instance of that match that he had, where he had glory at his fingertips, but because he's a man instead of a monster, he let it go. It is fantastic stuff. Not just Heyman's words, because we all know Heyman's great on a mic. He's great on his delivery, his intonation, his cadence. He's great at all of that. But Apollo, the nonverbal that he gives during this is some of the best I've ever seen out of him. Apollo just knocks it out of the park. Are we looking at Apollo swerve? Sure. we're looking at an Apollo Crews swerve. But it cannot be without some kind of guidance from Paul Heyman. I cannot see Cruz doing this on his own. I see this more along the lines of, look at the Hurt Business right now. You look at the Hurt Business. MVP is the mouthpiece, period. We know MVP is the mouthpiece. But there are some guys on there that are pretty good at talking, apart from him. Cedric Alexander has come into his own. He's done a great job finding his voice and being good on the mic. Bobby Lashley, look, Bobo's voice we would make fun of a lot about over a decade ago, okay? He was silent. He was the silent milk dud of the WWE roster nearly 10 to 15 years ago. Now he has found a voice, and damn it, everything that's happening within the Hurt Business is brushing off on him. Shelton Benjamin, kinda. Doug, can you give us other examples that don't involve black guys? Give me some managers. Give me some other managers that are talking for others. I mean, Sami Zayn used to be like that with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Sami Zayn was the mouthpiece. Nakamura and Cesaro, they're okay on. Nakamura wasn't good on a mic, and Cesaro, nah, not so much. I'm sorry. Apollo Crews, it's going to take a while for him to find a voice. He needs a mouthpiece, and Heyman can be that. But is there a way that we can have him and Heyman together, but it not diverge into Roman Reigns' mob family? I mean, let's face it, Roman Reigns as a mob boss is just fantastic. We will not argue with that at all. But is there a way that Heyman and Apollo Crews can be separate from Heyman and the Reigns family? Maybe. Possibly. It could cause a stir-up. It could cause Roman Reigns to say, what the hell are you doing with this other guy? No, get out of here. I can do this on my own now. So there you go. Now you've split them up. I don't see that happening, though. The two are going to converge. And I think that would be, I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because we're envisioning Apollo to swerve. It's a given, right? He's going to swerve. Period. He's going to swerve. But do we have enough faith in him that the swerve will be convincing without Paul Heyman and this monologue? Seriously, again, if you have not seen Talking Smack from last Friday, watch it and watch this. He is fantastic, Apollo Crews is, in selling us how pissed he is. It's great. Should Apollo have joined Hurt Business? No, there was nothing building for him on Raw. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be fascinating stuff. But, okay, again, enough of my fantasy talking and fantasy building and all that stuff. We are doing fantasy building with the Fantasy Royal Rumble. So, got to hold off on the fantasy booking. So that's all the stuff that happened on the television from last week. On to the headlines. Some people aren't working for companies. Some people are working for companies. And God damn it, Jeff Hardy loves fucking his wife. All right, first off, everyone's got the hubbub about the New Japan Wrestle Kingdoms. There's all kinds of the Wrestle Kingdoms. It is their Super Bowl. It is their WrestleMania. That is New Japan's WrestleMania is Wrestle Kingdom. It's a 2-night event. All kinds of crap happened. I didn't watch it at all because I was just on the Twitter and I could just see all the results from there. And everyone having a fucking cow that Kota Ibushi won every title known to mankind and called himself God. And Jay White said that night 2 was going to be his. That's it. He's done. He lost against Kota Ibushi, so now Jay White is done with New Japan. Everyone going nuts and speculating that Jay White is going to be with Ring of Honor, or he's going to be AEW, or he could go to NXT. Everyone needs to shut their mouth. He's not going anywhere. He's not doing anything. If he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be AEW. That's where he's going to go. He's not coming to the WWE. Nah. It's not enough. No. I don't see it. He's not coming to NXT. He's not going to the WWE. Jay White's going to go to AEW, and it won't be for another 6 months. It's going to take a break. What other stuff happened at Wrestle Kingdom? I don't know. Doug, you're a news show. Why aren't you telling us the results? You want me to tell you the results? I can't. Hiromu Takahashi defeated El Fantasmo to retain the #1 contendership for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Tama Tonga Tongaloa defeated Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. To win the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. I only know Zack Sabre Jr. because he got his ass kicked by Volta 5-6 years ago. God, that was such a fun match to watch. Kenta defeated Satoshi Kojima to retain the IWGP United States title. 2 Japanese guys have fought for a briefcase to go after a United States title that Jon Moxley has all the way across the pond. How you gonna cash that fucker in when he's not there? Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated the Great Okan. I remember watching the Great Okan when New Japan came here to Charlotte last year. I think it was last year or was the year before that. And this was when the U.S. government was shut down. They could not issue work visas. And so New Japan in Charlotte was almost an all-American show. Whoever was in the country was there at the show. I think we had Juice was versus Trent Beretta. Was that right? I think so. Yeah, I think so. But the Great Okan made his debut there at that Charlotte show, and he's okay. You know, he gave the young lion way too much offense in his match. But yeah, he's okay. I mean, I don't know. Kazuchika Okada defeated Will Ospreay in a 35-minute thing. God fucking Ospreay. Kota Ibushi defeated Tetsuya Naito to win the IWPG, the heavyweight title and intercontinental title. And he called himself God. Yeah, that's what happened. Tyler WWE. He's, you're saying Jay White's going to go to WWE? Oh, I hear you. Night 2, we don't have up on Wrestleview, but your night 2 results from the thing. Let me go to it real quick. Toru Yano defeated Bad Luck Fale, Bushi, and Chase Owens to win the KOP Dub 2021 provisional title, whatever the hell that is. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated 1 or 8, or it was 8 or 1. I don't know. Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Shingo Takagi defeated Jeff Cobb to retain the Openweight title. Sanada defeated Evil by pinfall. Hiromu Takahashi defeated Taiji Ishimori to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. And then finally, Kota Ibushi defeated Jay White to retain both titles, the Intercontinental and Heavyweight titles. After the match, Sanada got on the mic, congratulated Ibushi, and challenged him. So there you go. So there's your That's your Wrestle Kingdom results. I remember a while back, we did a watch-along for one of the nights of Wrestle Kingdom. We might do that again sometime. There are a lot of watch-alongs that I would like to do. I would do them on the Twitch. Cannot do them on the YouTubes because the YouTube Gestapo would go after me. Just like how I didn't play that Talking Smack clip between by Paul Heyman and Apollo Cruz because the Gestapo would go after me if I did that. Last week, Ring of Honor announced that they have mutually parted ways with Marty Scurll. I remember way back when I was high up on Marty Scurll. I loved his entrance. I loved the music. I loved his look. Loved everything about him. Until the speaking out movement. Yeah, here's Ring of Honor's tweet. Marty Scurll and Ring of Honor have mutually decided to part ways. Until the speaking out movement. And how he was integral part of that by our reporting on Wrestleview. Scurll, who signed a long-term deal with Ring of Honor in January of last year that saw him assume lead booking duties, was accused in June of alleged sexual assault during the speaking out movement. The accusation was made by a woman in Great Britain who accused him of taking advantage of her while she was underage and under the influence of alcohol. Ring of Honor would later release a statement stating that they were investigating the matter and would provide updates at the conclusion. He was removed from their website last October. Scurll has not been involved in any tapings or behind-the-scenes responsibilities. He has fallen off the face of the planet. And quite frankly, he can stay there. Sad. He was such a great look, a great act. Great everything. He had everything going for him. Then, come to find out, he's an asshole. That happened to a lot of other people, too. But people who are staying and retaining a job. Brian Myers, also known as Kurt Hawkins to you and me who don't watch Impact, I've always watched WWE. Brian Myers announced that he signed a new contract with Impact Wrestling. How much is it? How long is it going to be? Who knows? But he's been performing for them since last July. Here he is showing off his contract and thanking Eddie for the money. Yeah, good for him. Okay. While Ring of Honor lost Marty Scurll, they regained their former women's champion Sumi Sakai. That's news to me. I didn't know Ring of Honor had a women's division. I thought they were all about chauvinism. I mean, seriously. I didn't know they had a women's division. Name for me some female performers in Ring of Honor. Because I know like 5 months ago, there was a whole brouhaha all over the Twitter about how horrible Ring of Honor treats their females. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on this one. Hey, got to bring up my sounders on this one. News on the courtroom front. Oh, I got to do that without my reverb because I like the sound effect. I want to do it again. There we go. Vince McMahon has reportedly countersued former XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck. USA Today is reporting that WWE Chairman Vince McMahon is countersuing former XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck for $572,792.10. The suit filed in Connecticut federal court claims Luck defied orders by McMahon when it came to hiring XFL staff and players. McMahon said Luck abandoned his duties when the pandemic forced the league to be suspended in mid-March of 2020. McMahon also argued that Luck did not follow directions when it came to signing former NFL wide receiver Antonio Callaway from the Tampa Bay Vipers. Vince says that he emphasized to Luck that an XFL player must have, quote, quality football players with good character. Callaway apparently did not meet McMahon's standards during his NFL career. Callaway violated the substance abuse policy and also was involved in credit card fraud. Callaway suffered a knee injury before the start of the season. The league then had to pay him workers' comp, and the XFL was unable to terminate his contract without paying him his original signing bonus, which exceeded $120,000. The report also notes that the pursuit of former Heisman Trophy winner and all-around party asshole Johnny Manziel also caused issues between Luck and McMahon. It was said that after learning of reports that the XFL would consider signing Johnny Party Boy, McMahon texted to Luck, quote, McMahon texted to Luck, quote, "How long are you going to play this game, Oliver? You know there is no chance in hell for Manziel to play for us. I will not change my mind, so what's your plan?" I am not reading any further on this. Here's my thing. Vince McMahon is suing his former XFL commissioner for specifically $572,792.10. He is specifically suing him for the contracts that he signed to players that did not agree with the character that McMahon would like to see within the XFL. Specifically that amount of money. You're not going to sue him for $1 million. Can you not just make it a round amount? Don't you have any punitive damages here? Why and why that dime? You know, $572,792.10. I mean, that's a lot, but that extra dime, what an asshole. Come on. Why 10 cents? Why that extra 10 cents? Is that for the ink that was used on the papers? Kind of amazing. Kind of amazing. Some performers have entered the Royal Rumble, but that's not why we're going to this article. It's because the WWE announced a brand new senior vice president for their creative writing operations. Via the WWE Careers Twitter feed, or tweet, whatever they gave, they have announced the hiring of Christine Lubrano as the new senior VP of Creative Writing Operations. Lubrano currently is the president of her own company, Lubrano Media. Well, Doug, what the fuck? What does that mean? But she has previously worked as the manager of programming and production for Bravo TV between 97 and 01, and then she spent 18 years working with IFC before leaving in 2019. This is a fantastic hire. This is a fantastic hire for two reasons. Number one, we've got someone with a lot of television experience. A lot of television experience. Well over 20 years. Especially with the manager of programming with Bravo, that kind of perks some attention. But IFC for 18 to 19 years? And that channel's still around. It has a good show in Portlandia if you have not seen it. I love Portlandia. So, and the second reason why this is a great hire, I have been asking throughout my entire time with Wrestleview, when it came to creative writing with the WWE. And we always question booking. We always question what we see on TV, how stupid something looks on TV. But there's nothing I've questioned more about WWE creative than before the Revolution, we had the Divas. Before that, it was the women's title, but we had Divas. We had them in throwaway matches of 3 minutes. We had six women tag team matches for no reason whatsoever except just to fill time and not paying attention to them. The number one question I always asked is, are there any females on the creative writing staff? Are there any? We finally got one. We got a good one. We finally have a female creative writer with a lot of credentials. I am super excited about this. I'm really curious how this is going to turn out. We really won't see the effects of this hire for about 9 months. You got to wait until other programs hash out and wait until things go about. Because, you know, they've got their whiteboard. They've got the whiteboard. They have planned in advance what they're going to be doing for television for at least 6 months. WrestleMania is already in the books. but we will not see the effects of this hire for another 6 to 9 months. This I'm very excited about, because maybe finally we can have genuine female programs on WWE television. Why is it that Impact right now has the best women's roster and performers on their program? It's because they have the best storylines. They are written so well, and they're performed equally in the ring. Hopefully this changes with the WWE. I hope so. I really, really hope so. And the WWE applied for trademarks last week. I brought this up on the show last week, but we have a full list of the trademarks that they've applied for. They are Diamond Mine. They applied the trademark for Diamond Mine. Okay. For Kiao Liang for The Bridge, for Nu Wu for The Witch, for Ki Yu for The Covenanter, for Quan Tao, and for Ji Lu. Here it is. Right here's your proof. It's going to be more than Xia Li and Boa that's going on in NXT with China. We've got it right here. All those names: Kiao Liang, Nu Wu, Ki Yu, Quan Tao, and Ji Lu. The Bridge, The Covenanter, The Witch. Diamond Mine, I'm not so sure. I don't know what Diamond Mine is going to be. But there it is. There's your new faction. Watch out, SummerSlam. Watch out for SummerSlam. All will appear within SummerSlam. Hey, did you guys have a fun time with the Super Showdown that was out of South Dakota? Did you have fun with the Greatest Royal Rumble? Did you guys have a fun time with Crown Jewel? Oh, you're in for a real treat this go around, because we're going to be having a superstar spectacle. From WWE India's Instagram account, they've announced the WWE Superstar Spectacle. Sony India Television lists the Superstar Spectacle that will air on January the 26th on a Tuesday, with all the advertising including the Bollywood Boys and Jinder Mahal. January 26th is Indian Republic Day, and according to PW Insider, the belief is that the special would be taped at the Performance Center and will likely air in the U.S. on the WWE Network. Back in October of 2020, during the quarterly conference call, Nick Khan, President and Chief Revenue Officer of WWE, announced that the company was working on a new project for 2021 with Sony India Television to feature local talent from India to air on Sony India Television with distribution in the U.S. Here it is. I could air the commercial for it, but I am not going to do so. Doug, don't scroll down. I just did, and there's no one there. No one cares. All right, so finally, I can say where we're airing from. It's not from Indiana. We're not embarrassed for this. No, we're airing to India. It's not going to be performing at India. But now we know what Jinder Mahal has been up to. Jinder Mahal is perfectly healthy and is going to be hosting the Superstar Spectacle, or at best, performing in it. Okay. Sounds good to me. As long as we get Jinder Mahal back, that's all I care about. Bollywood Boys are going to be doing a lot of tag team and stuff with the Dusty Rhodes Classic, which I'm going to be bringing up in a second. WWE announced the next NXT TakeOver event will be for Sunday, February the 14th. I've got to adjust myself. There. My underwear's riding high, guys. So, yes, the next NXT TakeOver is Sunday, February the 14th. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Last year, they had a WWE pay-per-view on Mother's Day. And now they're doing one on Valentine's Day. I mentioned this to Deanna, my now brand new fiance. First off, I asked her, when do we plan on moving into our new home? Actually, when do you need your office set up in our brand new home? Well, I'd like it done on the weekend of February 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you want to set up your new office on Valentine's Day? Well, yeah. I thought that would be romantic. Honey, there's another thing that I've got to tell you about. The hell no that resonated within her gut was, I'm surprised my ears still work. I don't know if we'll be doing a watch along for a Valentine's Day NXT TakeOver. I'm not sure. But we'll see. Seriously, though. Valentine's Day. Is this what the WWE thinks of its viewers, of its fans? That they just don't have that much of a social life to have a loved one? Have someone that they could share romantic and sexual relations with? Daniel, get Mike and Victoria. Yeah, get Mike and Victoria to do it. Get the actually married couple with a child to do a watch along on Valentine's Day. God damn it, Daniel. Really? Come on. We'll think about it. We'll let this marinate for another month. Valentine's Day, really? Oh. Hey, Nick Jackson reportedly suffered a leg contusion, that is a bruise, during a tag team match on Dynamite. Jim Belby in the comment section, he's more injured than Samoa Joe. Yeah, when you do wacky, stupid shit for no reason whatsoever, that's kind of what happens. Don't put it on the injury list. It's because the Jackson boys do wacky, stupid shit for no reason whatsoever. Let's get some good news. Let's get some happy news. Let's get to the happy news. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. First round matches for this are going to actually be on 205 Live. And they're not starting it off with 8 tag teams. It's starting with 12. There are 12 tag teams that are going to be in this. None of them from Raw or SmackDown. We got Adam Cole and Roderick Strong of Undisputed Era. Undisputed. Them. Everrise, Breezango, Kurt Stallion and Austin Gray, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, Imperium, Grizzled Young Veterans, Legado del Fantasma, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas, Kushida and Leon Ruff, and the Bollywood Boys. I am counting 1, 2, 3, and I believe maybe 4 tag teams in there that are from 205 Live. I thought about this, and I asked myself, they found 12 tag teams between NXT and 205 Live. How many tag teams are there on Raw and SmackDown? I'm glad you asked that, even though I know you didn't. There are 13 or 14 tag teams between Raw and SmackDown combined. I'm not going to list them all. I went through it because I thought in my mind, I was like, good Lord, if there are only 8 7 or 8 tag teams between Raw and SmackDown, then something's wrong here. So, yeah. That's what we're getting. Mediocre Lewis asking if the Rascals are going to make their debut in this. Probably not. They're going to make their debut over in NXT UK. Is what they're going to do. But they got to take time. They got to get some reprogramming and some rebranding. Including or not including the Viking Raiders. Ivar is hurt with a clavicle injury. So no, that's not happening. Finally, good news. We always end the news segment on good news. And the good news is Matt Hardy's dick works. That's all I got. Matt Hardy announced on Twitter in a video that he and his wife are expecting their 4th child, and they are finally getting a girl. Maxell was born on June the 20th in 2015. Wolfgang Zander, June 2017. Bartholomew Kit, December 2019. There they are. Team Boy is so stacked in House Hardy, we decided to add a new member to Team Girl. So, there you go. It's always good news to know that Matt Hardy's dick works. It's been working a ton because he can't get work anywhere else. Oh! Shield the face! Shield your face! Ooh, that hurt! Ooh, that hurt! All right, we're okay. Ooh, ooh, that hurt. Ooh, that's gonna sting. I know I'm wrong on that. I know I shouldn't have said that. I know I'm wrong. I shouldn't have said that. All right. No. Matt Hardy's a great person. He's not like Bender. He's not like Bender. At least he doesn't, collapse in a Myrtle Beach stairwell drunk off his ass. All right, on to the injury front. Becky Lynch popped out a tiny human from her tum-tum. She should be back around WrestleMania times. What is up with people and tiny humans and tum-tums? What's going on here? Jinder Mahal, reparative knee surgery on his right knee. This was the same knee that he ruptured his patella on. He was slated to come back in October, but now it's been revealed that he is going to be doing some selling for Sony India Television. Edge, torn tricep. He'll be back around WrestleMania times if so. Ivar, clavicle injury and neck stinger. If his career is not over, he will be back in time for SummerSlam. Braun Strowman, cleanup surgery on his left knee. He should be back around time for Elimination Chamber. Anticipate to see him in the Royal Rumble. Chelsea Green, broken wrist. The same injury that she incurred in 2019 in the exact same spot when she fell off of the apron and tried to break her fall with her wrist. The same spot, the same wrist. She's not going to be back until Elimination Chamber times. Naomi with an emergency myomectomy. What that is the excision of fibers within the uterine wall. Female parts injury. She'll be back around time for the Royal Rumbles. Kit in the chat room going, wee! Tegan Knox tearing her ACL for the 3rd time. Her career may be over, but if it isn't, she's going to be back in time for SummerSlam. Ridge Holland ruptured his patella on live television. He'll be back in time for SummerSlam. And finally, Bobo Fish, even though he's on television supporting Undisputed Era with a torn tricep, he's not going to be back until SummerSlam times, and he is old. Those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on WWE television or pay-per-view for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design. A list that has been often replicated by other shows and websites, but will never be intimidated, rejuvenated. I got that wrong. Yeah, I got that wrong. No. A lot of people try to do my shit and they don't do it well enough. How about that? And they don't have a swank mascot to go along with it. We are 1 week away from history. History might have happened of the bad kind last Wednesday, but history of a great kind is going to happen next week, because watch your ass. You watch it. I'm telling you, if they do it, there's going to be a very angry show next week. Brace yourself for impact. Turn your head if you're squeamish. It's the WWE Milk Carton. Oh, praise America. There ain't no fucking coup here. Stay away from my list. I keep trying so hard. And yet I feel like I fail miserably every single time. It's hard to come up with a new song on the fly like that. Let's start things off from Tender Loving Care pay-per-view, and the only guy who has not shown up from it since then, and deservedly so, because he was set on fire. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. Pretty much given, right? Yeah, I guess so. Lana, haven't seen her since the December 14th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she had a match against Nia Jax. She was supposed to team up with Asuka to go after Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler's women's tag team title, but then she got hurt really bad, or they just wanted to keep her off television. Hence, Charlotte Flair returned, and now we have new women's tag team champions. Ember Moon, haven't seen her since the December 9th episode of NXT, where she had a match against Raquel Gonzalez in order to make Raquel Gonzalez a thing. Raquel Gonzalez is absolutely a thing because she just won a last woman standing match against Wwe Applied, sending Wwe Applied potentially to the milk carton until she shows up at the Royal Rumble and on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. Murphy, he is the only one of the other three from the incredibly horrible Mysterio Rollins program that lasted 6 months because Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio are off the milk carton. They were on the episode of last week's Friday Night SmackDown where Dominic was at ringside while his Papi was in a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Universal title. Murphy has not been on television. It might be because he's porking Rey's 19-year-old daughter. Humberto Carrillo, always a shoo-in to show up on the milk carton. Haven't seen him since the November 22nd episode, the Survivor Series. He was in the Battle Royale. That was on the pre-show. Hasn't been seen since then. He's probably going to been on 205 Live or something like that, but he hasn't been on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. Why am I mentioning him? Because he's on their rosters. Jimmy Uso, haven't seen him since Survivor Series, where he was standing outside of the locker rooms with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, the family. Blah, 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 blah. He is appearing on and off the milk carton. He used to be in the injury list with cleanup surgery needed on his left knee. Apparently, he's fine and only showing up on pay-per-views, except Tender Loving Care. Will he show up at Royal Rumble? Yet to be determined. Seth Rollins, we were expecting, P-Dub Insider released a report or a news item saying that Seth Rollins was going to appear on Friday Night SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Nope. He hasn't been on TV since Survivor Series, where he was the first one eliminated in the men's Survivor Series match. What's going on with him? His wife, Becky Lynch, popped out a tiny human, and so they're just enjoying life right now. Arturo Ruas. Oh, man, the former stalwart of the WWE milk carton. He could get back there soon enough. I haven't seen him since the November 18th episode of NXT where he faced off against Kushida. He was built up to be a thing. Apparently not. Casey Catanzaro, haven't seen her since that same episode of NXT where she teamed up with her partner and fellow milk carton appearance person, Caden Carter, where they teamed up against Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae in order to confirm that Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae were a thing, because they are now in a stable. It's called The Way. Watch television. Titus O'Neil. Haven't seen him since the November 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he faced off against Bobo Lashley because he took umbrage that the Hurt Business was not going to take him in, even though he's a fantastic person and has been doing a lot of stuff out of Tampa, Florida. He's been clothing them, feeding them, educating them, hiring them, curing them of COVID, and giving them better skin complexions. I don't know. But that's what he's doing. And it's okay that he hasn't been on television. As long as he's saving the people of Tampa, that's all that matters. Poor guy, Tucker. Haven't seen him since that same episode on November the 9th of Monday Night Raw, where he took part in a throwaway 7-way match for the 24/7 title. Haven't seen him since then. Why isn't he chasing after everyone for the 24/7 title? Poor guy. This is what I feared was going to happen with him. Right when Otis and him jumped over to SmackDown. Figured this was going to happen. God damn, I'm really sad for him. I really am. Lars Sullivan, I may not be sorry for this guy. Haven't seen him since the November 6th episode of SmackDown, where for 3 weeks he was giving creepy interviews that he was a real badass and you should watch out for him. Well, we got no problem doing that because it's been 2 months since we've seen you on television. He might show up at the Royal Rumble, but do absolutely nothing. Aaliyah. Haven't seen her since the October 14th episode of NXT, where she faced off against the NXT USA debuting Toni Storm to make Toni Storm a thing. That worked, I guess. Toni Storm is kind of a thing. The problem is, if she doesn't show up on TV next week, Toni Storm's going to be on the milk carton, so it was all for naught. And also, Robert Stone was at ringside alongside Aaliyah, and every day is a national tragedy when Robert Stone is not on my television. Aleister Black. Haven't seen him since the October 12th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he faced off against Kevin Owens. This was before the draft. Now the draft has occurred. Both of them are supposed to be on SmackDown. Since then, his wife, Zelina Vega, can't remember, Trinidad, whatever the fuck her name is now. She was a member of the WWE roster until she decided to create an OnlyFans account so that she could get $5 a pop for looking like sexy Melina from Mortal Kombat. She was released. Aleister Black still has a job, and it looks like they're riding out his contract to get rid of him, too. Andrade. Haven't seen him since the November 12th episode of Monday Night Raw, that same one where he faced off against Angel Garza. He took time off from television, maybe to recuperate a little bit, but also to be at home with his wife/girlfriend or whatever the heck it is, Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair just came back after surgery from an exploding boob and had to have cosmetic surgery for it. So Andrade was there to help her out and rehab and whisper tender Spanish nothings into her ear. I don't know. But yeah, he hasn't been on TV since then. Well, expect him on the Royal Rumble. Marina Shafir, haven't seen her since the September 23rd of NXT, where she took part in a battle royale of the Vagina Persuasion. It was the second one they had that year to determine the number one contender for the NXT women's title. She's been very active on the Twitter, doing political stuff and talk about her family and everything. She ain't doing jack in the WWE. Riddick Moss, haven't seen him since the September 21st episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was locked underground, pretending to be a cage fighter or a pit fighter or something like that. And Dabba-Kato was there too. Dabba-Kato was drafted to Monday Night Raw, and we have yet to see him. Underground has now been filled in. Raw Underground no longer exists. What did we get out of Raw Underground anyway? Absolutely nothing. What's going on? Take a breath, Doug. Jessamine Duke was down there too, except that we haven't seen her since September the 7th. What is she doing? She's playing video games on Twitch. That's what she's doing. Indus Sher. Haven't seen them since the June 24th episode of NXT, where Malcolm Bivens was delivering a monologue on their behalf because they're really awesome. Well, apparently they aren't really awesome, and the reason is the color green. We'll probably see them on the Superstar Spectacle thingy that's for Sony India Television is probably what we'll see. And Malcolm Bivens right now is doing something with a kid called Tyler Rust, apparently. He had a really good match 2 weeks ago, but Mojo Rawley. Haven't seen him since the June 19th episode of SmackDown, where he faced off against Shorty G to try to convince ourselves that Shorty G is a thing. Since then, Shorty G changed his name back to Chad Gable and is trying for a 4th time since going to SmackDown on his own from 2019 to become a thing. Mojo Rawley. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably manning the camera at some kind of Gronkowski daisy chain or something. I don't know. Mansoor. Haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown out of Jeddah or Riyadh or Bismarck, South Dakota. He faced off against Dolph Ziggler and made the crowd proud because he was beating up a white guy in Arabia. Wait, no, it was South Dakota. And once again, further proving the fact that Mansoor will only perform in his home country of that which will remain nameless, or South Dakota. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to then North American champion Keith Lee in less than 25 seconds. Finally, the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. Man, my jaw hurts. I'm going to crack open a brand new one for this one. The stalwart of the WWE milk carton. We are 7 days away, technically only 5 days away. If this performer does not appear on NXT this week or WWE television on Monday Night Raw, it will be official. She will have made history. She will become the 4th golden gallon of the WWE milk carton. Doug, what's a golden gallon? Why do you keep asking me this shit? You should know this by now. Golden gallon is someone who is on the WWE main roster and is perfectly healthy and has not appeared on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or a major pay-per-view in a full calendar year. Ladies and gentlemen, she is an inspiration. She is breaking the glass ceiling and causing all of us to walk on it and cause our feet to bleed profusely. It is Vanessa Bourne. Vanessa Bourne has not been on television since January the 15th of last year on an episode of NXT where she took part in a battle royale of the Vagina Persuasion. It was the first one of that calendar year to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's title. That would end up being Bianca Belair. Let's do a refill here, because we're going to be talking about Fantasy Rumbles here in a second. She will become the first ever female member of the Golden Gallons. She will be the first female Golden Gallon. Man, what a time it is. Our previous Golden Gallons were Primo and Epico Cologne, and most recently, Bo Dallas, who has not been on television and is still on the main roster. Right now, Bo Dallas is still 14 months strong of not appearing on WWE television. It's quite frankly, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But Vanessa Bourne, next week, can't wait. I just cannot wait. If this is taken from me, prepare yourselves for one of the most insane episodes of Wrestleview Weekly. We've had Golden Gallons taken away from us with 5 weeks left in Arturo Ruas. I will not have this happen. There's no way in hell this is going to happen. If she ends up being a jobber to Xia Li, oh, God. Oh, God. All right. But there we go. That is the WWE milk carton. Like I said, people that may be showing up on the WWE milk carton next week, a lot of them, I don't know. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane are on the chopping block. They may show up. Velveteen Dream. It would only be his second appearance on the WWE milk carton. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But until then, fingers crossed. Poor one just... What if, Jamel saying, what if she gets let go on the 16th? No, we will still celebrate her. It's a full calendar year. We will still celebrate her. Okay? That's it. Yeah, Kit saying, yeah, Drake and Killian are in the Dusty Tag Team Classic. Yep. That's why I'm thinking they may not show up, but we'll see. Toni Storm could show up, though. We were trying to build her up and build her up. Welcome to the U.S., Tony. You're on the milk carton. All right. That's enough of the milk carton. It's time to talk fun stuff, really fun stuff. Every year, the Royal Rumble is the best pay-per-view of them all. I love the Royal Rumble. I've made databases. I've made spreadsheets on it. I fucking love the Royal Rumble. And it's with this said that for the past for Wrestleview, for the past 8 years, and for the past 20 years as a professional wrestling fan, I created the Fantasy Royal Rumble, a way that you can enjoy the Royal Rumble in fantasy sports form. Take some notes, prepare yourselves. It's time to learn about the Fantasy Royal Rumble. I love the Fantasy Royal Rumble. It's ever since I developed this nearly 20 years ago, whenever my friends would come over, get together, we'd put $5 in the pot and sit down and watch the Royal Rumble, and whoever won took the pot home. Sometimes this started off as $20. And I'm sorry, no, I've been doing this for longer than 20 years. It's 25 years. I started this when I was in college. And lots of wrestling fans in my high-rise dorm that spanned 3 floors. It was a 10-floor high-rise, and 3 of my floors full of wrestling fans. And I was one of the head honchos of the professional wrestlings. I would gather money from everyone in the dorm to pay for every pay-per-view that would show up on Sunday. And we'd watch it. And so the Fantasy Royal Rumble is what I developed as fantasy sports for the Royal Rumble. I would gather money from everyone. We would have a pot of $200. And yeah, it was fun. It was, oh boy. So here we go. The Fantasy Royal Rumble works a lot like how fantasy football does. You know, you draft a team, and whoever has the best team wins. So here's how it's done. First off, you pick, for everyone, you get a team. Pardon the alert there from the computer. You have a team, and on your team, you pick 3 performers. 1 main event performer, a mid-card performer, and a low-card performer. How are those performers determined? What are their tiers? We'll get into that in a little bit, okay? But on your team, you pick 3 performers. The points for each performer are based on the number they entered the Royal Rumble in, the number they exited the Royal Rumble in, and the number of eliminations they made while in the Royal Rumble. 3 factors determine the most points you get for your performers on your team. This is the equation to determine the number of points that your performer receives. As you can see, if you know algebra, or you know anything else there, it's in parentheses A minus B, close parentheses, plus C equals the score. A equals the exit number, the the number that they exit the Royal Rumble. B equals the number that they entered the Royal Rumble in. And C equals the number of eliminations that they made. So, to put it bluntly, exit number minus entry number. After that, add the number of eliminations. That's the Royal Rumble score. If the performer wins the Royal Rumble, they get an extra 5 points. That is the equation to determine a performer's Royal Rumble score. I know this sounds complicated, but if you've played fantasy football, there are way more complicated equations than this one. So, well, maybe not really. I mean, for every 10 yards, you get 1 point or something like that. That's kind of what you get. For here, the equation for the performers: exit number minus entry number plus eliminations. That's how it's done. Here's an example of a performer in the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins, who won the Royal Rumble in 2019. He entered the Royal Rumble at number 10, exited at number 30 because he won the Royal Rumble. He's the final performer, so he exited at number 30, and he got 3 eliminations. So, what is his fantasy Rumble score? Well, you take the exit number 30 minus the entry number of 10, makes 20. Add the 3 eliminations, makes 23 points. He won the Royal Rumble, give him an extra 5. He has a final fantasy Rumble score of 28 points. There you go. Now let's take the winner of the 2017 Royal Rumble, Randy Orton. He entered the Royal Rumble at number 23, exited at number 30 because he's the final entrant. He won the Royal Rumble, but made only 1 elimination. So what would his score be? Exited at 30, entered at 23 to make 7. 1 elimination makes 8. Won the Royal Rumble, 13 points. So you kind of see the difference here in that, sure, you might pick the winner of the Royal Rumble, but it may not net you as many points as you would like it to be. There are a lot of performers in the Royal Rumble that stay in for a long time but don't win it. There are a lot of performers in the Rumble that eliminate a ton of people, but might have entered at number 9, but they exit at number 8. So the Fantasy Rumble makes you think a little bit on who you want to pick, and it's all determined on who the main card, mid card, and low card talents are. Examples of main event talent are right here. It's Kevin Owens from SmackDown, Keith Lee from Raw, Karrion Kross from NXT. What determines a main event talent, Doug? Well, mainly it's how many main events are they in? Have they been in recent pay-per-view main events? Keith Lee has been consistently on the Raw main event. Karrion Kross is going to be on the main event. Hell, he was NXT champion and then he had to relinquish it due to injury. Kevin Owens has been consistently in SmackDown's main event, and recently the past 2 main events on pay-per-view. Well, actually, no, just the one on TLC. Later, Lewis. So, here are your examples of main event talent. Right here. Mid-card talent. Sami Zayn from SmackDown. Timothy Thatcher from NXT. Matt Riddle on Raw. What defines a mid-card talent is not exactly being a former champion of a mid-card title or holding the mid-card title like Intercontinental, US, or North American, but it's more about, are they on television consistently? Are they on television consistently, rarely on the milk carton, and always in a likely program? See ya, Quentin! Whee! Sami Zayn, former Intercontinental Champion. Matt Riddle, consistently on television. Timothy Thatcher, the same way. God, he's got a match named after him practically in the Fight Pit. But not main event. Not vying for the major title. Not closing the show. That's mid-card talent. Finally, low-card talent. Low card talent are guys that are intermittently on television, usually chasing after a 24/7 title, seen backstage when something happens and you see them in the periphery, on the milk carton on a consistent basis. Examples of this: Kalisto on SmackDown, Drew Gulak on Raw, and even though he was just on NXT, Kushida. And even though Kushida is going to be part of the Dusty Rhodes memorial, I'd still have him as a low card. Just because he hasn't been on TV that often. So, those are your examples of main event, mid-card, and low-card talents. Again, you are only to choose one from each tier. Now, first off, for everyone listening, for everyone watching, whether it be live or on Memorex or on demand or whatever, next Sunday on the Wrestleview Media Facebook page, I will post the tiers of main event, mid-card, and low-card talents from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. When I post those on the Facebook page, thus the Fantasy Royal Rumble starts. It is first come, first serve on what team you choose. The first one, you post your team, there you go. If you post a team that has already been posted, I will let you know, and you will need to choose a new team. That's how it goes. There are tiebreakers involved. I will kind of fill those in as they happen. I'll let you know what those tiebreakers are. Okay. It's usually combined number of eliminations. It's also combined length of time per slot that they're in. That's how it is. And of course, I knew Daniel would ask this. What's the prize? The prize? That you know more than me when it comes to professional wrestling. It's just something to have fun with, guys. That's all it is. It's just something to have fun with. It's up to you with your group and your community to put money into this or to put something into this. This is just something that I put out there for all of us to just have fun with. You know, that's all. Just have fun with. But again, those are the main mid-card and low cards. So, I thought we'd do something fun here. Because when it comes to the Fantasy Rumble, the big thing that always happens is people contesting why someone is a main event, a mid-card, or a low card. And it makes for great discussion. It makes for great debate on who is considered upper, mid, or low tier. Oh, they're being pushed to the moon. Well, maybe they're not. That's why I've got them as a mid-card. So, I have put together a list of 9 performers. 3 from each show, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And so, let's go ahead and discuss who are, or what is the tier of these 9 performers. Would you consider these people main event, mid-card, or low-card? By the way, Doug, why don't you do a women's Royal Rumble? Because there's not enough. I'm not convinced to do a women's Fantasy Rumble yet. Not yet. I don't think there's enough women in NXT, Raw, or SmackDown to do it. Though last year's women's Royal Rumble may have had no cameo appearances, I'm still not convinced. So, in time, there will be a women's Fantasy Rumble. But until then, oh, wait, what are we talking about here? Andrew, winner gets to make Doug's picks for pay-per-view this year like a quest on the show. Ooh, Jamel's seconding that. Winner gets to help Doug make locks at WrestleMania. Okay. You know what? I'll think of something. I'll think of a prize. All right. I'll think of a prize that is show related. I like the idea of you guys making the picks. Okay. Of making my picks. I'm totally down for that idea. You guys are going to make me drink so much, aren't you? You guys are going to make me drink a ton. And I wish I could have it to where the winner could be a co-host on one of my shows. The problem is I don't want you guys to be buying equipment and making sure that your internet connection is great to be a part of the show. I don't want you to be doing that. Okay? Instead, I like that idea though of someone making picks. I like that idea. We might figure something like that. We'll see. I like that idea. I'll keep it in mind. I do want to have some kind of incentive for you guys. I know, Daniel. I got to drink if you get them wrong. I know that's how locks work. All right, here we go. 9 performers. Main event, mid-card, or low-card. Let's go through them right now. Velveteen Dream from NXT. Now look, I've said it that I believe that Velveteen Dream is going to make the jump to Raw or SmackDown this year. He's going to be at the Royal Rumble. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Problem is, this Joker has already appeared on the milk carton once after coming back from injury or a car accident. And he's also been kept away from TV because everyone wants him fired. Right now, I mean, I got Tyler in there saying a mid-card, Daniel saying a low-card, Jamel keeping a mid-card, but I think he's moved to low-card now. This one's tough. Velveteen Dream is one of the tough ones. He's taken powders to Adam Cole recently. Took a powder to Tomato Chomper. To a revitalized and repackaged Tomato Chomper. This one, I don't know. I'd probably put him as a mid-card. I'd keep him on the mid. Yeah, I'd keep him on the mid-card. Yeah, he's not bad enough to be on the low. If he was on the milk carton for at least another 2 weeks, I would have him on the low card. But we'll see next week. Sheamus. Now look, we are all waiting for the Drew McIntyre-Sheamus WWE title match. Sheamus is going to stab him. We know it's going to happen. He has been in main event shows. He's been the main event on Raw, but has yet to be on the pay-per-view for Raw. Do you get that? I mean, do you understand that? He has yet to be on a pay-per-view. Yeah, I'd have him on a mid-card. Daniel, Tyler, and Andrew saying mid-card. Jamel saying hi mid-card, but no. Borderline main event, yes. But right now, he's mid-card. There was a guy that you would want on your team in the mid-card. Sheamus. Though there's a lot of other guys that I'm sure will be on the mid-card that you'll probably want to choose. Adam Cole appeared on the Royal Rumble last year. What was his score? I'm not sure. He was one of the early entrants. I think he was in there for a while. Adam Cole, former NXT champion for God knows how long. Then off television for a while. Had to take a rest. The guy was a fucking robot. And now he's back. Kind of. Going to be joining Roderick Strong to be in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This one is really tough. He was in main events this year, but in the tail end of the year started tapering off. However, his match with Pat McAfee, War Games, with Pat McAfee's group, I got to have him on the main event. I'd have him as a main event. He may be tapering off, and I totally get. I see everyone calling for a mid card, but Jamel, Pat McAfee will be in the Royal Rumble, he says. I wouldn't be shocked at that. I've called for that. I'm calling for a Pat McAfee, Adam Cole cinematic match at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee doing a run-in at the Rumble to eliminate Adam Cole? Absolutely. But I've got to have Adam Cole on the main event. The resume is too deep for this year. Resume is way too deep. Deeper than Velveteen Dreams, that's for damn sure. AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw. Since Raw Underground has been filled in by concrete, that gigantic man Omos is now by his side. AJ Styles recently had a TLC WWE title match. But before that, not really doing so much. Not really a whole lot, if you think about it. Wasn't really going after any major titles. I think he was going after the Intercontinental title on SmackDown earlier that year, in 2020. This one is fascinating to me. Only because AJ Styles really hasn't... He's been on the main event, but not much. And he's always been perennial main eventer. Always has been. But not so much this year. Kit saying AJ is main event. Omos is lower mid. No, I'd have Omos as a lower card. I'd have Omos as a low card. But AJ, I'm looking right now as a mid card. Not a high card. He is not main event. AJ is a mid card. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Here's the big thing, too, is next week when I release the lists from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT of main event, mid-card, low-card, is open for discussion. If you believe that someone should be on a different tier and you provide ample evidence of it, I am all for it. I've done it before. I've changed people tiers. I've changed tiers from adequate arguments, okay? Don't get me wrong. What I say is not set in stone, okay? That's why I love doing the Fantasy Rumble, because it gives us discussions like these. Is AJ Styles a main eventer? Not questioning that he's not currently. It's just if we're doing a fantasy sports thing, is AJ Styles mid-card or main event? For me, I think he's a mid-card. I think he's a very adequate mid-card. Main event, if he had two other main event pay-per-view matches, probably, but not so much. Aleister Black. I'm throwing this out here for shits and giggles, okay? He's been on the milk carton for nearly 3 months. 3 months this guy has been on the milk carton. People are thinking he's gone. People thinking he's going to show back up. He hasn't done a damn thing. Aleister Black is an example of a low card. He hasn't been on television at all. He's been mired in middly programs throughout an entire year. Don't be shocked if he doesn't even show up at the Royal Rumble. I don't think he's going to show up. That's the other thing, too, is when you're picking your teams, high card, mid card, low card, you really do want to pick someone on the low card who you think isn't even going to show up. Because more often than not, someone from the low card, if they show up, they're getting eliminated mega quickly and you might lose points. They might show up, pick number 8, but be the 4th one eliminated and cause you to get a score of -4. You lose 4 points. So on the low card, be sure you pick people that you don't think will show up at the Royal Rumble. You got to pay attention. Yes, Jamel, you got to pay attention to the milk carton to win the Fantasy Rumble. This needs to be discussed a lot. Braun Strowman. Main event or mid-card? Braun Strowman, main event or mid-card? Braun Strowman, who won the WWE title at WrestleMania. He won the Universal title at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman, who thought he was a cage fighter underground. Braun Strowman, who had a program with the Fiend Bray Wyatt cinematically so that he could shave his head. Braun Strowman, who's been on the injury list for the past month and a half due to knee surgery cleanup. The Braun Strowman that could eliminate so many people. He could net you a quick 5 points. If he came in and left at the same time, but cleaned house, sure. But is he a mid-card or a main event? There's no way in hell he's a low card. No way in hell. Is he a main event, though? He won the Universal title at WrestleMania. He had a cinematic program with Bray Wyatt. He's been in nearly a third of every main event on a pay-per-view last year. Think about that. 4 pay-per-view main events. Won the title at WrestleMania. And we're thinking he's a mid-card. Really? I don't know about this one. Andrew saying mid-card, not enough main events. Jamel, I think Braun already did that before. Topped Roman's number, talking about eliminations. Andrew saying he just feels mid. I totally get that he feels mid-card right now. But, man, this is a tough one. This is one of the toughest ones for me, is this one, is Braun Strowman. This is a really, really tough one. But we'll see what happens, okay? Give me a week to marinate on it. I'll put out the lists. You guys don't like where he's placed? Provide your evidence. Provide a thread for it. Again, this is what makes for great discussion. Daniel asking, would he be main if he were on Raw? Well, he is on Raw. He's on Raw. Oh, boy. All right. Over on NXT, Bronson Reed. This one, what Braun Strowman is to the main event and mid-card, Bronson Reed is to the low card and mid-card. Hear me out on this. Bronson Reed has appeared on the milk carton many times in the past calendar year. Many times. But vied for the North American title last year. Has been repackaged 2 times throughout the calendar year. I think right now has the best entrance on NXT. He's now apparently getting on television on a consistent basis. Jamel saying low card. He had his push continued. He'd be mid, but he's low. Andrew saying don't watch NXT to know. This is a tough one for me. Because I've got a feeling Bronson Reed, if he were to show up at the Royal Rumble, would be showcased. Kit Dyson saying I want him as my low card pick. Well, he might be a low card. He may very well be a low card. Again, when you're picking your fantasy team, the hardest one to pick is the low card. Because there are a lot of low cards. And so do you want a successful low card or do you want a low card that doesn't even show up? So many times I had people pick people who are actually, I had people participating in the Fantasy Rumble that chose willingly low card people for their team that were going to show up at the Rumble, and it bit them. So It's tough. It's a tough one. It's only going to get tougher with the choices we got to make. Open discussion right now. We have got to put our feelings aside of what we think about Baron Corbin and how great they are. We know he's a fantastic heel. We know that. Problem is, he has been on the cusp of getting on the milk carton on a consistent basis for the past 3 months. He has not been in a program at all for the past 4 months. He hasn't been on a pay-per-view in 6 months. And yet, we still regard him in the mid-card. I am so close to putting Baron Corbin in the low card. It is a close one, but by God, if I had him in the low card, everyone's going to gobble him up because he's built too much of himself to be in the low card. He's not a low card. Not. He's a mid card. Not a high card. He's not a main event, that's for damn sure. Ugh. But it's just amazing when you look back at, think of the calendar year, okay? Think back, WrestleMania last year. Baron Corbin, is he a main event, mid-card, or low card? We're all saying main event. I was going to put Baron Corbin in the main event at WrestleMania against Big E. Nope. Fell. And I've got a feeling it's probably due to injury. He had to have had some kind of recuperative surgery of some kind, rehabilitative surgery of some kind. That's why he was off TV intermittently. No, Baron Corbin is a mid-card. Yeah, he's a mid-card. Yeah. Not going to take that away. No, he's a mid-card. Finally. One to think about. Otis. He won Money in the Bank. Pushed to high heaven. Was in the best program last year, involving Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, himself, and Tucker. And Dolph Ziggler. Pushed to the moon. Consistently on TV. Never been on the milk carton. Daniel says low card. Jamel says low card. Andrew says low card. Kit says mid card. If you're on TV on a consistent basis, you should be a mid card, right? Right? But right now, Otis is mired in a program with a repackaged, for the 4th time in 18 months, Chad Gable. Oh, Vince McMahon called him up to work on his shit a month ago, along with Keith Lee and Omos and... This is a really tough one. Of all of them, I think Braun Strowman is probably the toughest to pick, but right now, no, he's a low card. Otis, the guy who won Money in the Bank? The guy who had main events on SmackDown consistently is a low card? Think about that. Think about this. I'm going to brutally admit to you right now, this is the most difficult Fantasy Rumble that I've had to put together. I have never seen, look, Otis, Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman, AJ Styles, Adam Cole, Sheamus, Velveteen Dream, all of these performers 2 years ago would have been easy, just easy to label. to put in a tier. This year, it is tough. It is ungodly tough. And I don't know why that is. The roller coaster has never been so at the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It's tough. This is tough. But again, next week on the Facebook page for Wrestleview Media, if you're not a member of it, join up right now. Next week on the Wrestleview Media Facebook page, I will post the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT rosters organized by main event, mid-card, and low-card tier, and thus will begin the Fantasy Rumble, and I will think of... There will be an incentive. There will be a prize. Yes, it will involve you doing something on the show to jeopardize my health. Blame the pandemic, says Andrew. Yeah, truly. Yeah, I would blame the pandemic on this one. Jesus. I blame everyone. I blame Sarah Palin. I blame 9/11. I blame fucking MAGA people. I blame algebra. I blame them all. Guys, thank you all so much for stopping by. If you are not a subscriber to the Wrestleview YouTube channel, what the fuck's your problem? Subscribe to our channel, like us, put notifications on there too if you would like. You'll know what we got in store for the shows. We really only do 2 or 3 a week. That's all we really do. It's all good. But yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by. I think Mike and Victoria will be on tomorrow night for post-Raw discussion. Next week, Wrestleview Weekly, as always with me. And also next week, what's on the docket? Random Royal Rumble facts. Remember my times on Wrestleview Radio, where I had the most random of Royal Rumble participant facts? I still got them. I could still make them. Yep. Royal Rumble, incredibly obnoxious and irrelevant trivia will be next week. As always, thank you guys so much for showing up during these really trying times and using me as your escape. I really appreciate it for everything that's been happening these past few months. Thank you all so much. Wear a mask. Think of others before yourself. Don't be an asshole. And as always, know when you're being sold to.